Hey, welcome back everybody. Today we're going to show you how to build this micro auto cook loot room that fits in a 1x1 half, and you can actually use this as a modular design to scale up, scale down, plugs into an automatic loot room if you want to, like a loot sorting system. It's very versatile. This can fit in almost any base. As long as you have a 1x1 half, this will work. And it runs off of one car battery and one solar panel. That's crazy. And yes, you can scale it up. It doesn't have to be a car battery if you don't want it to. But how useful is this? There's your inbox. You have your raw materials. It gets put through the electric furnaces. No wood required. Ends up here in your output box for cooked. And again, as I said, this does fit into other loot rooms or auto sorting. You've got ins and outs here. You can have this in, pipe into your sorting system, and then the output back here for your cooked materials can be sucked out when you need it to throughout the base. And yes, since this is a half, you can throw another one of these bad boys up here if you so desire. And also you can pipe this into something large if you want to, but if you only have a car battery and a solar panel, this will automatically start things up for you and turn it off when it is done. It's very hyper condensed and also uses very little power. The automatic sensor uses a little bit of extra juice, but I think it's well worth it. We have a switch here to kind of manage things when it's in its detection state. It will use 1 unit of power on the battery there, but if you need to charge things, you can always just shut that off. But it will automatically sense any cookable materials here and then push it through these furnaces, turn them on, and when everything's cooked and pulled through, then it will shut off the furnaces and go back into detection mode, which is 1 unit of power. Okay, so we're going to show you how to do this breakdown here. When we need to later, we'll show you that this concept does work on this very, what's the word, diluted setup here. We had to do this because we're on Builder's Paradise, and we have no active nodes to use here, but this will show you that this system does work in an automatic state. And you could even kick this down to a more simpler version if you want to. I would strongly suggest doing that, starting in small chunks and then working your way up. Okay, so first things first, let's go ahead and add the top layer of this, because we are going to use the ceiling, as you can see there. This will only use 2 conveyors, believe it or not. Go ahead and make that stone. And I'm trying to get through this through the daytime here in Builder's Paradise, so we don't actually, so we can see, but I do have a headlamp on, so hopefully that helps. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get this box parallel to that line there, and you want to make sure that you've got a very tight fit back here, because you need that for your furnaces. So usually what I do is I kind of keep it like this, and by the way, buckle facing you just helps. Back, having it pushed against the wall in front of me here is probably the most important. You can have it off that back wall to my right, but yeah, having it smushed parallel to that wall is probably the most important thing. A lot of times to get this last one, you can put a little piece of twig out here so you can really get it there. This one's a bit crazier, so the buckle's there on the left. Again, buckle's always facing in is usually the way to go. And we're going to get that kind of parallel there, get it back, pull it forward a little bit, and then we're going to strafe to the right, and then smash against the wall. You know you have it right when you can fit a electric furnace with the grill facing you all the way to the back. So you can see right there. So as it stands now, we are on Builder's Paradise. This is in PTB. We have like an older version of this, just like a quick rundown here. So we can get away with placing these storage adapters where they smush into the boxes. As it stands now on PC, obviously that's not allowed. So yeah, you can kind of get away with jamming these like in a row here and then kind of using the storage adapters this way, but don't count on it long term. It could very easily get patched out. By the way, this is hitting main branch by the end of August 2024 for us on Console Edition. So that's why this one's built in this fashion, because this is the way your condensed loot rooms are going to end up anyways. So we're just going to follow that way. Okay, so what I like to do is once the boxes are in play, I like to put the storage adapters on the first furnace, put one on the top there on the input box, and this will be the output box. And then what I like to do is I like to rough out the conveyors. You've heard me say this in other videos before, but our, would they be bound boxes, hot boxes, whatever these are called, these nodes that we interact with here, they're very large, they're invisible, but like when we have objects really close to each other, they overlap, so it's really hard to find the point that you can interact with. So that's kind of why we have them set up this way, because it should make it easier. It's very tight, but it should still be possible. Okay, so the first conveyor is going to be our input, so we want to make sure if you're looking at this guy, this is facing you. The buttons down at the bottom of the face is the standard position, just so you know. And I think both of these are in the standard position, yeah, like buttons down. Okay, just want to make sure you guys know what that is. So when we're going to place this on the back wall for the input, we're going to have it just past this storage adapter. You can have it pretty close because actually the output and then the input are right on top of each other. So as long as you see the buttons on the screen or the buttons below the screen, you should be good to go. I think I have that over far enough. Maybe I can go just a little bit further. Yeah, because this panel here gets a little tight as well, especially with the electrical nodes that you have to really mess with. All right, so that should be good. Let's go ahead and place our other furnace here and get really tight. So we're going to push this against the back wall and then kind of come forward a little bit and then strafe to the right into the box as far as possible. You can probably place these now, just give yourself a little bit of space under there. So I'm going to place one of these branches here and then the other one under that, so we've got a little bit of room. And if you're feeling pretty spicy, you can also connect these. The output, not to be confused with the branch part, in the bottom of that one. You'll see where this comes into play later. All right, let's keep placing our storage adapters and the other conveyor. Then we'll have a pretty good idea of where everything's at, because if things aren't working well, then this is where you would make these adjustments. So we want to make sure that the buttons and screen or I should say the buttons are to the left of the screen when it's on the ceiling here. So it's kind of hard to see. You can see the buttons are actually facing me right now. When I rotate it once, the buttons are to my right. Now I want them to the left. And I think I have this just past, oh no, it's actually just halfway over the box. Okay, that's not too bad. So what I like to do here is kind of bring it right like this. There we go. And I'm going to connect all these different pipes. So the output for this should fit into this box here. And I think I went up and around with that. I certainly did. All right, so we're going to actually enter this box. So I like to go from this node here and take it to the ceiling, walk it over. And that way it's like, you have to, I don't know, it just makes it a bit tighter. And sometimes you can back up. If you need to back up, you kind of just pull away and just hit your left trigger once, lightly. Don't hold it because it's going to erase the whole chain. And then we're going to get it on this back wall and then kind of loop around. As long as it looks clean, we'll keep it. I don't know if I like that dent, but you know what, we'll keep it because this is going to be long anyways. I don't want to have to make that adjustment. All right, so these are green for the input. Now this one's going to pipe around the cooking stuff because you actually can have these connected. You don't need a conveyor for each of these. So I think what I did was I brought it down here and then kind of just walked it around the box. Even though this one node is right out here, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. And then for the input, I just kind of connected this piece right here and went to the ceiling as straight as I could and then connected to this. Oops, if I back up, so if you're having a hard time hitting these nodes, kind of move around a bit, crouch, look at different angles, you'll get it. So you can kind of see why we have them in different locations. I like to keep it somewhat tidy. And so we're going to take the output of this, and then if you, I know this is, well, actually, I was going to say, if you need to get that back one, you can like reach it through the object. So just kind of look for that node. It'll say what it is in the future if you want to connect these. Same with this guy back here. Your input's going to be way back there. So, but you can still reach it. That's another reason why having this walk-in is very important. Okay. So each of these furnaces are going to take 3 units of power, and I think this is probably the best time to connect this. So each of these branches will represent the furnace power. So you're going to want to press, go in here and hit 3, and then hold your A button if you're on Xbox. You hit the B button to erase. Make sure that's set to 3. I picked the color yellow to kind of set these. This back guy here is a little bit hard to hit, so I kind of did that one first. So I just kind of bring the yellow cable up here. Brought it back about as far as I can go, and then I just kind of walk over here and you should be able to hit it from this box angle. So it should be nice and clean. The branch out here, which is also set to 3, we'll bring it up here. It's kind of just bunched up in this corner. And we'll take it to about here, and then if we look into this furnace, we should find the node. It should pop up like right around here. Or right, oh, I just saw it. Good thing we can place blind, right? Thank goodness. So when we do plug this into the main power, these are already hooked in and they're already set to 3 units of power, which is perfect. Okay, you know what we could probably do now, which is actually kind of sweet. You can go here and set the filter types. See how it says any, and then you can add a filter. You can go over to resources. Remember, this is input, so you do high quality metal ore. You can do, if you want to do everything. And by the way, this does not take wood, so keep that in mind. So yeah, you can stick all the raw materials here. So check this out. If you have another one of these somewhere else, you can actually copy this by pushing in your left thumbstick, copying it to clipboard, and then going up here, crazy, and then paste it by pushing in the right thumbstick. How cool is that? Even though this doesn't take wood, it still shouldn't. I mean, it literally won't take wood. So you can have this in the buffer, yes, but you could actually remove the wood if you want to. One of the main things you want to make sure that you're doing, make sure you have filters, because if you don't, it's always going to move everything. But also, your filter mode is very easy to hit by accident because it's your right thumbstick. Make sure it's on any. If you want to get rid of these, you can always scroll over it, delete it, or modify if you really want to. In this case, let's just go ahead and delete the wood filter, just so we're not confused. So this is the input for our electric furnace. We'll go down here and copy the output, which is, in this case, it's not charcoal, but we'll copy the whole thing left, because this is actually from a standard furnace. But you can kind of see how just copying and pasting some of these can really help. And you see that our min, buffer, and max is all set to 0, because you just want it to take it as soon as possible. If you're ever having problems, go back and check to make sure your min, buffer, and max is 0, and make sure that your filter mode is on any. In this case, to eliminate confusion, we're going to get rid of the charcoal. And yeah, these are our 3 potentials that will get vacuumed out. Remember, this is to pull them out and put them into the box. If I do this, this whole chain here is going to cook them, and then pull it and push it into this pipe, and this conveyor is going to push it into our box, our output box. Okay, let's see here. I'm using my cheat sheet down here. I'm trying to see for like positioning, like the best thing to do. Okay, let's maybe do the switch and the branch first. So remember, we're gonna put a door here at some point. So it's probably good we can actually put some twig down so you can see what we're talking about. So you want to stay off of that frame, obviously, so you can place doorways or garage doors. But I like to put this guy down here, and hopefully I'm leaving myself enough room, and then the branch up here. And I think, is that what I ended up doing with this? Yeah, because I actually rewired this a lot of different ways to make it less confusing, believe it or not. So this goes to main power, by the way. You know what we should do? All right, so let's pause this for a second. You can stick your first battery here. I like to kind of stick it right there, because if you're a bit too close to these other objects, it gets hard to place the cable itself. And then we're going to place another solar panel. I like to place it either northeast or southwest. Obviously, if you have a combiner or a bigger battery, you can do that. But this does charge off of this, believe it or not. I'm actually just going to make this blue, I believe, and then pull it over, just to show you that this does work in that fashion. But yay! Pull it over here. And hopefully the Builder's Paradise doesn't erase in the middle of this. That would be really annoying. We're just going to bring this up the frame. We'll have this plugged in, because I kind of want it to be taking a charge right now. Kind of bring it over here. And bring it up. I like to color code the nodes. I'm a freak. You see how hard that is to place it? We even left it pulled out. Okay, cool. So the solar panel is actually giving us 9 units of power. That's beautiful. Okay, so this guy here, I think I set it to, was it just 2? Yeah, it was. Okay, so this guy right here is actually going to be going and powering this guy. Remember, this is our master switch that actually goes in. What color did I end up using? Orange, I think? Red and orange? I think it was orange for this other side piece. Alright, so this here, the branch is set to 2, and it's going to go to this guy's power on. So you kind of just look around here until you find it. There's a lot of nodes, so be careful. The power should be at the top there. It says power in. Make sure it doesn't say on, because that is awfully confusing sometimes, because you're like, oh, that's why it's not working. It's plugged into a an on-off toggle. Okay, next big piece here is we're going to take our AND switch, or AND logic gate rather, and hopefully I get this spacing right, because it's a bit tricky. So I got it close to the box, but not too close, and pulled it off. And then I think did I leave this as a, I think I did. Actually, there we go. There they go. I was like, we have no marching ants. That's crazy. So yeah, I left it on the outside. So all right, so what this is going to do is this guy here, when it fails, it's going to go to this AND switch, and it does what it says. If both conditions have been met, it will push power out the top. In this case, it's going to go to our logic circuit. Yeah, that should be good enough. And then I think our main power for this, okay, cool. So you notice our furnace grid here is orange. This is actually going to power the other conveyor on this side. How did I tuck it in down here? Oh yeah, I wrote it on the side. Okay, good. Yeah, do you know how many variations of this I've had? That's why I'm like double checking to make sure I don't accidentally do this, so we don't have to like do this 50 more times. I kind of keep it next to the yellow wire as like a guide. I kind of place it here so it looks kind of clean, and then that's the power in. So essentially this one always stays on when the circuit's on, and then our memory cell here is going to be what controls everything. So just a quick review, if it's going to let me. Is it on this side? Man, getting those nodes is super. Okay, there we go. We got it for a second. There we go. So toggle is just what it says, on and off. Like one burst goes on, another burst goes off. The red line here is to shut it off, and the green one here is to turn it on. So we're actually picking conditions from these conveyors to do so. I'll do more of showing so you have a better idea. And I'm actually cheating again to look down here to make sure that I have it right. Okay, so yeah, you know what? Let's just keep this guy just like this. So what did I use? A white cable for this? I did. So the main power that comes out of this is going to go into the memory cell. And so I just kind of put it there at the bottom. And so you can see our different inputs. Set is when it's turned on, reset means off, and toggle is each time you send a burst, it's going to change the condition on, off, on, off, on, off. And then this piece here should be our main power. Actually, we already have that plugged in. Then when the conditions are met, either on or off, we should have inverted out or output. We're just going to be messing with output. What color did I make that? Was that white as well? I think it was. Yes, it is. All right, so let's go ahead and plug this white power that comes out of the output. And we're just going to run it all the way over here again and then cross it over in front of the branch. Bring it back down and then feed our branch, this be an array here. So that way, when this turns on, the rest of the power is going to go here and then power the memory cell. The memory cell, when the condition has been met, will throw this out here down the white cable itself and then powering both furnaces and this conveyor. So let's go ahead and get these conditions roped into the memory cell. So the off condition needs to be both of these guys. So so basically when there's nothing to vacuum up here, that fail condition is sent right there. But the way the AND switch works is this needs to be a fail and then this needs to be a fail, because once this is done vacuuming up, that means we still have things inside of the furnace. When all of the output is vacuumed out by this conveyor and then it fails its condition, which its condition is anything schmeltable from the output, that means when they both fail, this will throw a signal out here, then turning off the circuit, which remember all of this power grid here is for this conveyor and the furnaces. So let me, okay, so you can see the pass, but the fail filter is closer to the wall. There we go, fail. And we're going to bring it up, I think, right about here. Okay, let's go up just a little bit further, I think. I'm so tidy with my wires. I'm such a freak about it. I don't know why, but I am. So we should actually be able to hit this last node here, because you can see input A. As input A goes through, if this condition does fail, we should be able to throw a fail condition up to, or I should say when they both fail, we are going to send one signal up here, which fits very nicely with the reset, also known as the off button for the memory cell. Perfect. And what's great though is the fail condition needs to happen for both of these. Remember, this is the input conveyor, that's the output. So really, since this is our detector, you just need a pass signal to turn this on and nothing else. So we're going to make that green, so we have a pass condition here. And how did I group that down here? Yeah, I guess it's okay. We can kind of route it up the wall. We might have a better way to organize this in the future, but you get the idea, right? So we'll bring this up here. I know the wires are crossed. I hate to do that when we're doing these, but it is what it is. Bring it here, and I think our pass is set there at the top, right? Is this one set? Yep, okay. So essentially when this guy, our input guy, detects anything that's smeltable under these conditions, any item that is raw ore, high quality metal, or sulfur, it will turn this green, then in turn turning on the rest of our circuit, which is furnaces and our conveyor to vacuum things out. So, here's one other really great thing. So, a lot of times you'll have these like weird states, like if you turn these on by accident, they're out of order. Having a toggle switch here is very nice. But again, since these node, yeah, you can actually see it right here. Like I'm having a hard time just selecting that. That's why at the very end, that's when I add the red button switch, because it will crowd everything else. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and connect the red terminal here real fast before we lose daylight. So our output, oh, see, even right there, that's tough. Okay, so I'm actually backing up almost out of the loot room area here. I'm just going to follow the box right here and go right under the power switch. And that way we can totally control everything. There you go. So now I believe, let me just double triple check, make sure I got everything right. These are all set to 3. Whoopsie. 3, and then you hold A. Make sure that's set to 3. Okay, and this one should be set to 2. That's very important because actually if this one's set to 3, you'll actually have not enough power. Side note, as it stands now in Builder's Paradise, this should have an output of, of 15. It only has 10, even though its Rust watt minutes is 150. So keep that in mind. That's a thing. So right here, we're just going to make the cable black now and put it up into the toggle position on the memory cell, which will just kind of help us manually switch things on and off if we need to, like if it's stuck in a weird state. Because like if you somehow had this on and you didn't like have the order right or something, yeah, you'll see. It's nice to have this here. Plus, we'll kind of have to use this because we have no nodes here in Builder's Paradise. So yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it on this in its idle state now. We have to make sure that's on, and then this is on as well. So actually, this is another great reason why we have the toggle button. Because the circuit is failing, this isn't on yet, so I need to turn this on. So I'm going to hit the button and then turn that on, and then it's going to they're both going to fail, and it should shut off, I believe. There it goes. It took a second, but it did it. So you can see, let's just say this will simulate it detecting something and putting it through. And then as soon as this fails and this fails, it'll shut off the system, which means everything out of this box is empty and everything that's been cooked is moved out of both furnaces and then pushed into this box. It will then shut itself off. As it stands now, the furnaces are generating a crazy amount of noise. That is a glitch. It should not be that loud. So to keep your sanity, you might want to turn down your sound effects for a little bit. Hopefully that's fixed by the time this hits main branch. But just to kind of show you, and maybe this will confuse the matter, but you can see right here, if we take just a little bit of material here to kind of show you that the circuit does turn itself on and off, what it's going to do is it detected that. The red lights up here represent furnace power. These are going to cook the material. As soon as the wood is down and the charcoal is moved out of here, it should shut off the red at the top here, the furnaces, and then move everything out of the containers. So you can see that even though you've got materials that are sucked out of here, both conditions have to fail, just like this over here, and then the whole circuit turns off, saving you a ton of time and power and sanity, because let's be honest, if these things are actually running, my goodness, it's loud. So hopefully they have that fixed. So yes, as I said earlier, the idle or detection state for this is a 1 unit of power consumption. When it's on, I think it uses 8 total. Yep, there you go, 8. Then when it will detect whether or not it's done, then it'll shut it off. If you want to turn off that detection state because you want to charge your battery, you can hit the power switch there, and then you should save yourself some time. So this will run if it has material to smelt and if it has power. As I said before, it is modular. You can fit a lot of this in one square. You can plug this into a sort system, a crafting system, a drop box system that is outside of your bunker, and it pushes it in here. Your sort system can then take those raw materials and place it in your inbox and then put it to the smelted out box. So right there you've got your super condensed electric furnace, auto furnace, in a 1x1 half shelf. If you guys are looking for other things like a sort system and auto crafter, I should have a video up on the end screen now if you want to go ahead and check that out, and hopefully we'll see you in the next live stream / video. Love you. Bye. Oof, oof, oof.